Welcome to my Facebook Live this afternoon, or I should say this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're joining me live, please do say hi so that I know you're here. Otherwise I can't tell. And it's been a really warm afternoon here. So I decided we'd have a little bit of cooling off, although the name of the stamp set is Warm and Toasty. I'm actually going to feature some snowmen and polar bears, just for a change. Hi Carol, thank you for joining me. So, let me show you what we created yesterday. And the day before. I had to think about that. So here we have the cards that I made the day before yesterday. Hi Tracy and Scylla. So these are made using this cute Have a Hoot stamp set that features these owls, as you can see. So there's three sort of Christmassy ones, although this could be anniversary without the mistletoe. This one could be birthday as well. And then there's a couple of sort of Halloween ones. And this is Halloween, but you can get away with it for something else, I'm sure. So all I did for the first set of cards was just to stamp them and layer them onto our 3" by 3" cards and envelopes. So we don't sell the cards, I created the cards, but we do sell the little mini envelopes. So I stamped the little owls on the branch for the backs of the envelopes. So that was where I started with those three. Then I stepped it up yesterday by using this frame here, and this frame cut out 3 tags, but as it's a single die it leaves behind an open frame like so. So the way that I cut it out was I just popped it on my layer. I ran it through my die cutting machine, and then I actually popped this through our embossing folder. Hi Christine, hi Fiona, Tasteful Textiles. And when you run it through, these are the tags that you get as a result. 1, 2, 3. And this is the negative space. But in the Stampin' Up catalogue, they've used that to create another card. So I did just that. So these two are basically the same, so I'll just show you one of them. So what I did was I took this panel here, just what I'm going to do again today. I marked the areas off where the outline was, and I stamped behind with the owls on the branch, this one and then this one here. And then I stamped them again and die cut them, so there's dies to match these stamps, and I popped those up, and then I layered that whole thing onto a card using dimensionals. This is another variation, but the same thing, slightly different colourway. This is Pretty Peacock, and this is Bermuda Bay. So I was very lucky to be with a friend yesterday who has this stamp set. Now this is not one that I own. This belongs to the lovely Lynn Fay. And I thought, how cute would these be popping up in the windows? So like the little polar bear. You could have the little mice, you could have the big polar bear, any combination of those, or the reindeer. So Lynn kindly lent me her stamp set. Thank you, Lynn. And I also added in this cute snowman, because what I thought I would do is make this obviously a Christmas card, but have it as a snow theme. So let me show you my components. So this is going to be the inside of my card, which I will stamp up in due course. Then I've got a layer of white, which is going to feature behind my panel. So it's just slightly smaller than my panel. And that is going to go onto my base card. So let me turn that over because it's got a mark of some kind on there. So if I just turn this over, what I've done is I've cut this layer. That's not quite short enough, is it? I don't want it poking out the bottom. So let me do that. Hi Linda. I can't tell who else is here. So let me trim a little bit of that off, like so. So that it will fit inside of that when I come to do the work. Now the other thing you could do, and this was an idea that one of my lovely team came up with, and that is to use some of these snowflake papers as the background. So this one here, for example, you could have that in the background, so that if you had any die cuts or anything, you'd have a coloured in background as opposed to one that you need to ink up. These papers are gorgeous. Look at this one here. So this is Snowflake Splendor, as you can see there. And that would be stunning in its own right with all the snowflakes, wouldn't it? And that one there. But for today, I'm just going to be using my white panel, and what I'm going to do is, this is my plan. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to have a sentiment at the bottom, which is a little bit tight for space, but I think it might work. And what I'm going to do is stamp 3 snow related images onto my white piece of paper. Oh yes, Tracy, the die is from this one, Have a Hoot, from this set. So it cuts out all of the owls, plus it cuts out this, and then the 3 tags. So really useful set. And I did have another idea which I sort of started on screen yesterday, which is, instead of actually stamping in the backgrounds, you could just put designer paper behind it, and then you could add your own sentiments or images, die cuts on top of that. So that's a similar theme, and also these could go whichever way you needed them to go. So let me find the front of this. So this is the front. It does have some stitching around it, but because I used the embossing folder, the stitching is less noticeable. I'm just going to position that in the centre, roughly. She says, moving it. Let's put a little bit of tape on it. So I hope everybody is keeping well, if you're watching me live, and if you're watching me on catch up or on YouTube, then the same goes for you. So let's just put this here. I just want to keep it roughly in place. Okay, I'm not going to stick it down, and you'll see why, because I want to stamp behind. So what I'm going to do, which is the same as I did yesterday if you were watching, is to run around the edge of the template just very lightly with a pencil, so that I know that's the area when I'm stamping that I'm actually going to see. Now obviously if you had little stamps you could just stamp straight through onto there, but I've got larger stamps that are going to come off the edges. So I'm just drawing around here. It doesn't have to be particularly pretty. You do want to do it in pencil so that you can rub it out. So there we go, that's my panels. And what I'm going to do is take that little bit of washi tape off, because it will annoy me, and I'm going to grab a piece of grid paper because I am probably going to go off the edge of this paper. So I hope that this is all nice and in focus today, because there was something weird going on yesterday. So I have the snowman. Let's put this back on. And I have the cutest little polar bear. So I'm thinking he would look nice in that slot there. And I'm thinking the large polar bear could go across like that. Now what I do need to do is just pop the labels on for those two. I do have permission from Lynn to add the labels, because not everybody likes their labels added. So if you're not used to doing that, then all I do is peel off one side of the label, take the stamp, place it directly over that label, press down, and then lift that up, and then just flip this piece up, take the other half off, and just let it drop down. Okay, so let us pop that on there, and I'm going to do the same with the large skating polar bear, only because I want to see which bit I'm going to stamp. Hello Vivian, thanks for joining us. So exactly the same thing. Take the only take half of the backing off. Then you're not risking it. What's the word? I can't think of the word. Curling up or anything. Okay, there he is. And then I'll just take that little bit out. And then just let it relax down. Don't try and push it down. Okay, so what I'm thinking is he might look quite cute like that. My little polar bear popping up like that, and my snowman up in this one here. That's my plan. Let's give it a go. So the first thing I want to do is stamp this bottom polar bear. Couldn't think what it was called for a minute. And to use this block. Now obviously he's designed to look like he's skating along at an angle. You're not going to see that here, so it's up to you at what angle you could put that. Because this is all going to be covered, I'm not worrying about covering up the bottom of this piece of card. But if it annoyed you, you could take a post-it note and pop it on here. Now I will need to do that anyway for the ones at the top so that I don't go over the whole area. And just for a change, Christine, stay seated. I'm not using Early Espresso. I'm going to use Night of Navy because I've got a navy card and I'm using this blue layer. So I thought that would look better than Espresso. I know you're going to fall over now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pop him on fairly high. Yep, that works perfectly. Now, if you were doing a lot of these, I would set them up on the Stamparatus so that they were correctly positioned, and then just put your basic piece of card in with your masks as needed. I know, Carol, it's a bit much, isn't it? I did all my preparation for Class in a Box this month. Early Espresso doesn't appear anywhere. Not quite sure what people are going to do. There's not even a piece of paper with Early Espresso on it. Okay, so I'm going to pop this one on here, and I'm going to do this cute little polar bear. And obviously you could use whatever you have. You could also use just snowflakes for one of them, or you could put just a sentiment in one of them. So don't feel you have to stamp all of them. And then this one here, just so I don't get any corners on there, I'm going to pop this along the edge. Okay, I'm not worried that it's got a little bit of a gap because it's going to have the piece of card on top. Okay, so let's do our snowman. So this snowman is from last year's or even the year before's catalogue. So he's rather well stained, as you can see, because he's been rather well used over time. And that is from Snowman Season. I just thought keeping them all as snow characters would be good fun. So there we go. 1, 2, 3. So when I pop this back on there, they all look as individual characters. Okay, if I hadn't have masked this off, the bottom of my snowman would be covering up my poor little polar bear. Right, let me wipe those down. Blue for Burr. W for energy. Good point. Good point. Okay, while I'm here with the ink, I'm going to stamp my sentiment for the bottom. Now it's maybe a little bit big, but let's see. And I'm going to use Warm and Cozy. Wishes to you. Warm and Toasty. Wishes to you. Dear. Let's give this a go. So I haven't put the label on, which might be a mistake, so let's just try it and see. Okay, that's fine. I know where to line this up. So, Voila. And while I'm here, I'm going to stamp, I think I'm going to stamp that cute little polar bear on the bottom inside. So this is a very sweet, cute set. If you like, you know, if you like cutie things, or your family do. So I've got this Merry Christmas. I thought I'd put in the centre of that one. Now you can see how well this is used because it's extremely stained. I know it is, isn't it? I'm allowed one day without early espresso for fear of being, you know, called boring. But I have to say I'm very pleased with this month's class in a box. The problem I've got is narrowing down the card designs I'm going to use. So I will give you a little sneak peek if you would like. So let's just put Merry Christmas slightly higher centre. There we go. So that's all of my stamping done. So that's going to go in the middle, like that. Let's bring this back, and this is going to be my template over the top. So the first thing I need to do before I do any colouring in is A, cover my ink pad, and B is to rub out all of those lines. So I do recommend use a good quality rubber and keep it separate and clean if you can. Hello Catherine, thank you for joining us. Must be afternoon for you. So I'm just using a good quality rubber to rub out the guidelines. Okay, because I don't want those peeking out from behind. As I say, if you were just doing small characters that you could stamp inside, then you wouldn't need to use the lines. So these are snow themed, but I'll show you the other characters in the stamp set. Let's get rid of those pieces like that. So in the Warm and Toasty stamp set, you've got these adorable little mice. Got some rabbits in a sleigh singing. You've got the polar bear. You've got the polar bear on skates, and then you've got a cute little reindeer. So you could, you know, really frame any of those. That would work. That's probably the wrong dimension, but you could have that one on its side like that. These would go nicely in there, the little mice. So when you're measuring these up, just check that these are 100% accurate, and there'll be a little sign down there if it isn't. So this one, and I know you can't read that, it says images at 90%. So in other words, the actual stamps are larger, and if that was the case, then I would be doing that with the stamps. So this actually would make a cute Halloween card by having each of those Halloween characters in a box. Okay, so all I'm going to do is some straightforward colouring in of these, and the best thing to do for snow is just add either a little bit of grey or a little bit of pale blue. That's your best bet. So let me grab that, see what I have. So I've got a light balmy blue here. and I'm just going to do a little edge round here. I think so. So it just gives the idea of it being snowy and cold. Now obviously the scarf you could do in bright colours, but I think I'm going to stick with blue and white for this whole card. I'm going to do the same here for that cutest little polar bear. So I hope Lynn is joining us. Oh, no worries. Thanks, Christine. Hello, Pauline. So I don't know if Linny is watching or whether she'll be watching later, but thank you, Linny, for the loan of this stamp set. And that's one of the nice things about being part of the demonstrator network, is that we help each other out, and we're on hand to help each other and loan things out. And then usually what happens is you borrow it and then you think, actually I've got to have it anyway. That's usually what happens. Or you're waiting for it to come and you can't wait long enough, so you go and borrow one from somebody else. Okay, so just a little bit round his face here. Little snowman or snow lady, could be. And the same for my polar bear here. So not very inspiring colouring in, I'm afraid. But you don't really need to do much. You could colour him all in a very light grey, but I prefer to leave a section of it white, really. Now if I had bashful blue, that would also look good. So I'm just going to hover under there. And then this bit here. Like so. Okay, so that's how that is going to look. Very cute. I don't think I've quite done that pencil line there. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, so I'm just going to colour these in, and I'm quite tempted just to use this single colour so I end up with a monotone card. I don't want to colour this in too dark because it will obliterate my lines, but obviously you could colour these in bright colours. You could do this as a red and green card, of course. Let's just do that little stripe. So not a great deal of colouring in. I will do his carrot nose though. Sweet. So I used a tiny bit of pumpkin pie for the owl's beaks yesterday. And I might put a little bit of pink for the faces, but I don't want to overcook it. Let's see if I've got a light pepper pink. No, I've got dark petal pink, but I think it's too... might be alright. it's going to do that, and I'm going to use the colour lifter just to take some of that out. Although it's actually, because it's fading slightly, I think I'll get away with that. So that is going to become my cute scene. I really like that. Okay, so you can have that flat onto your card, or you can have it raised up with dimensionals. I am just going to, no, I'm going to leave him plain, I think. So let's layer this onto my card. So what I'm going to do is put these two together first, and then put the whole thing down. Here's my bit of washi tape. So what I'm going to do is put some wet glue. Let's find my active wet glue that I was using. And I'm just going to roll it basically around those panels, like so. Okay, so I know roughly where they're going to go. I'm just going to drop that down. Now doing it this way means that if I want to slightly move it up or down, I can do. So I know that's the bottom of my polar bear, like so. And that's fairly central to my original position, maybe slightly to one side. If you wanted to, you could mark the corners of this from when you did the stamping earlier, and then you'd know it was in exactly the same place. But I'm not too worried about that. And then that's going to go onto there. And as I say, you could either use dimensionals or you could use glue. So I'm just going to do this as a straight flat version. The ones I did yesterday, I did with dimensionals. Let's put this one out of the way. Like so. What I am going to do is add some embellishments to this. So this is my warm and toasty wishes. It's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it, when it's all snow. Right, I'm going to pop that one on with dimensionals. Like this. So if you were listening to me yesterday or on replay, I was very excited to place my order for the new Stampin' Up embossing and die cutting machine. So I can't wait for that to arrive. So that's another benefit of being a demonstrator, so you get to order these things early. So this is going to go inside. And again, really whatever your preferred glue is. So you could use seal if you wanted. So I've chosen to use these fun characters. You could use any characters you've got, but you could also use flowers, leaves. You could do a male version of this using the Geared Up Garage. So this template is just really cool because it does it in one go. There's nothing to stop you creating your own with 3 dies, but you just have to be careful to position them correctly each time you are die cutting. Okay, so what I'm going to add to this is some Snowflake Embellishments. These are adhesive backed. I think I used these a little while ago. And they're 2 sheets. One is sort of blue and gold, and then the other is sort of a pink and silver. So I'm going to use this blue and gold one. The other thing I could use are the blue sequins. They would look particularly nice. I don't think I've got mine to hand. Let me have a quick look. No, I did a whole load of clearing up this afternoon. I cleared them, but I don't know where I put them. Anybody else do that? Anyway, I like snowflakes, so let's add these. So they had adhesive on the reverse, and I'm just going to dot. I think I'm going to put them actually on here. Because of the embossed background, there's not, you can't see them really on that background. So I've got 3, and I might just put 1 each on there. One and 2. Voila. There we go. So, Warm and Toasty wishes to you with Merry Christmas and the cute little polar bear on the inside. Let me show you the original ones from yesterday so you can compare. Show you this one here. So this is from Have a Hoot, so it's the same design template as you can see. I also put this one through the embossing folder as well. And on this one I raised it up on dimensionals and I stamped in the background. Whereas for this one here I've just put it flat. And that's mainly because I forgot to put dimensionals on, between you and me. But don't tell anyone, they'll never know. Okay, so that is my session for today. So we used Have a Hoot and the matching dies. So the dies do cut out all of the owls. And then you have this one that cuts out the frame. And you get 3 tags as a result, so these are perfect for adding. This was one tag I made yesterday. Just laid up and added a little bit of ribbon. So you could do the same thing with the polar bear, for example, and have him on a little tag. That would look cute. In fact, you could just stamp him on there. Should we give that a go? I know I said I was finishing. I just get sidetracked. Where's the polar bear? There we are. And while he's there, I might as well do 2. There we have it. And because this is Seaside Spray card, you could use the Seaside Spray ribbon, the glitter ribbon, to match it. Just going to use my background here. Put him on there as well. Why not? As I've got him. So 3 little tags to go with it. Okay, so those are my, as I say, that's my card for this evening. I've got a feeling that I'm going to be using this for so many things now, not just for Christmas. Right, would you like to see a few of the projects for my class in a box for August. So booking for that goes out this evening. Well, no, actually tomorrow it goes out. I'm writing it this evening, but it'll be posted tomorrow. And that is open. Booking is open for just under 10 days. So a week on Sunday it finishes. So let me grab them. Now I'm not going to show you all of them because I like to keep them as a little surprise, but I'll show you 3. Okay, let's move these out of the way. So this month's class in a box features the stitched leaves. There's a stamp set and frame and dies that go with it. And for this one I've actually stamped on the back, so the class itself can be operated completely on its own with the products I send you. All you need is some glue, possibly some scissors to cut your twine. That is it. So this is one here, and this is the die that cuts out the leaf and does the stitching, and I've just cut it into a panel. And you'll get 8 different colours of card, because you also get a whole quarter pack of the plaid papers. Lots of bright designs. Let me show you one more of the cards, and that's this one, a shaker card. So this one is just using the negative space, a bit like we have done with the tags there, and I've got the plaid papers behind and some plaid paper on the front, and I put that through the embossing machine. So there's 2, and here's the bonus one is a little notebook that I've chosen to cover with some of the papers and added some of the die cuts. So you get die cuts in all of the colours that are provided. So there are some more cards to come. They're going to be hidden until it's released tomorrow. But here's a little bit of fun that I had this afternoon. Just showing you what you could do with it. As long as you have the dies, then you could create that. Now there's a name for this type of design where you take one portion and swap it with another. I'll have to look up what it is. That's not one of the cards actually for the class, but it's one of the bonus cards that you can do if you buy the dies as well as the class. So there we go, that's this month's class in a box. It's £20 delivered to your door. You can buy the stamp set and the dies in addition if you wish, or you can use your own sentiments. So there we go, I hope you like those. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to catch up with you again soon. I appreciate you spending the time with me on a Thursday evening. I hope you have something nice planned for this evening. So all that remains is for me to say take care, look after yourselves, look after each other, and I do hope you can keep on crafting. Thank you so much. Bye bye.